everyone! Today I will be talking about how I make my Roblox music videos. As you guys probably know, I just came out with a new one where I recreated the Taylor Swift Cardigan music video in Roblox. When I come out with new music videos, my most asked question is, how do I make them? So today I will be going behind the scenes into my latest music video, but also just explaining my process that I use for making all of them. Before I begin, I'd like to explain how I even got started making Royal High music videos. I first got the idea to make one of these videos when I saw one that Royal High YouTuber Tari Who had made, which was recreating the Bella Porsche Dolls one. I love that Roblox music video still. I thought it was just such a cool idea, so I decided to make one of my own. And ever since I made my Cooler Than Me music video, which is an awful video, do not watch it, watch the new version. Ever since then, these videos have kind of been a fun project of mine. The first thing that I do when making a new music video is I make the outfits that I will need in it. In the Cardigan music video, I only had one outfit that I had to do, but usually I'll have 3, 5, or even 9, like in the last music video I did, The Fate of Ophelia. I tend to make the outfits first because you can't really do anything else without them. You can't really make the video without characters to start in it, so it's very important to do this first. If I'm recreating a music video, like with this one and a couple other that I've done, I'll look at the original music video to see what outfits they had in that, and then I'll try to recreate them to the best of my abilities in Royal High. Now, if I'm not recreating the original music video, which I've also done a few times, I will have to make my own outfits. It's important when making my own outfits that I make sure that they all match. If I want the music video to be kind of like summery or beachy, I'm gonna make all the outfits to match that theme. I also try to make the outfits quite simple, and I also try to give each character a distinct color, so that way, if there's a lot of editing going on, you can still tell which character is which. This is usually the shortest part of making any of the music videos, but it's a very important step. The next step into making a music video is designing the set. Often when I'm making my own music videos, I'll choose someplace in Royal High like Diamond Beach or Divinia Park, since the set is already built, it looks really nice, and it kind of sets a theme for the video. Now, if I'm recreating a music video, I 99% of the time will have to build the set myself in a Royal High dorm. There have been a couple occasions where I haven't had to do this, such as in the Cardigan music video, I used Diamond Beach for one of the scenes, and in the Fate of Ophelia music video, I also used Diamond Beach for one of the scenes. I'll be discussing how I made every single set in the Cardigan music video to explain my process in further detail. The first thing I do is I get reference images for whatever scene I'm working on. So for this one, it was the big cabin with the piano in it. I was mainly using this image since it shows most of the room. The first thing I do is I use my main reference images to place down some of the big items in the room. So for this scene, it would have been the piano, the table, and the fireplace. When I'm placing down these items, I'm making sure that they line up with where they are placed in the original music video. Now, once the big items are placed down, I'll go back and place some more of the decorative items, such as, in this scene, some bottles, books on the bookshelf, candles, and again, I'm looking back at my reference images to make sure that they line up. Here is what the set looked like once I was done placing everything down. Obviously, the next step was to color it. Two game passes that really help me with coloring, especially in the last couple of music videos, have been the Materials Game Pass and the Custom Patterns Game Pass. The Materials Game Pass is very useful for when I need something to be wood or metal, and instead of having to find a pattern that looks close enough, I can just change the material. Custom Patterns is super useful for when I need a very specific image for a part of a music video, such as in this scene of the Cardigan one. Now, usually with background pictures in my music videos, I'll just pick a random Royal High pattern or an older decal I have saved, because the uploading process to get the custom images to Roblox is tedious, and I try to avoid it whenever I can. But for this scene, it was very obviously focused on these two images, so I decided that I really should have them. Once I was done coloring everything, there was still one more thing I had to do. I had to get the lighting right. So with Royal High dorms, you can change the color of the lighting through the construction tools. So I had to experiment with that to see what lighting would make the scene look the closest to the real music video. I also had the time of day to deal with, because obviously Royal High has a day and night cycle, and depending on the time of day, the lighting's different. So here is the scene before it was lit. I hadn't colored the dorm lighting, and it was in the day. And here's the same scene with the correct lighting, and also at midnight, because I found that that lighting worked the best with the scene. Although building the sets can be difficult, arguably the worst part is what comes next, actually recording the clips. Since I only have one Royal High dorm that I use for music videos, I have to record everything I need in a scene all at one time. For some scenes, I only need one person in them, but for some scenes, I need multiple people, or I only need one person, but they have to move around. In Royal High, you can't move your character around freely when using the free cam. So oftentimes, I'll rope my alt account and some unfortunate friends into recording the music video with me. This is part of why I keep the outfits simple, is so that way if I need to trade items to a different account, or I need to tell somebody how to make the outfits, I can easily do that. There are a few things that I have to do every time that I record a clip. I have to get all the characters where they're supposed to be, and if they're supposed to be doing any poses, I need to make sure that they're doing them. And depending on the area that I'm recording in, I have to wait for a certain time of day. Then once everything's set, I can record, which sounds simple, but it oftentimes doesn't work out. For every music video, I'm gonna have scenes that don't work out, especially if characters are moving or characters are posing. Usually, these scenes will take 3 to 5 takes, but for the Fate of Ophelia music video, every single time that the characters switched a pose took 5 to 10 takes, and some of them took more. It was a little bit miserable. I think that's the biggest thing that you don't expect when you're going to record these videos, is just how long it's going to take to get clips that actually work. Now that I was finished with the first set, it was time to move on to the next one. With the second set, I was quite worried that it wasn't going to turn out great, because it was a very complex set with a lot of different features, with all of the nature, trees, waterfalls. I had to make sure it looked accurate from all different angles. It honestly surprised me with how good it ended up looking in the end. Obviously, when it's compared to the actual music video, it looks nothing like it, but I'm honestly just proud I was able to get as close as I did. Honestly, this scene was pretty uneventful, building it wasn't too terrible, and recording it went flawlessly. I had two main options for this next scene, since it was a big open body of water. I could either try to build it in my dorm room, which I wasn't sure how accurate that was going to look since there's no water items in Royal High, or I could go to Diamond Beach, to the big open body of water that's there, and use some of the beach supplies to make a quote-unquote piano. I chose the latter option, and I ended up using a sleeping bag to mimic the piano. I tried to get some decals to make it look even more like a piano, but for some reason Roblox checking system for the images wasn't letting them through. This scene did take a lot of trial and error though, because I couldn't swim. I just kept sinking, so I had to fly instead, which caused all sorts of chaos. I actually think this scene took the longest to record, even though I was thinking it was going to be the simplest. The next step in the process is to edit the video. Often when I'm editing these videos, I'll have the original down hidden right here to use as a reference, and I'll add markers along the video where I either need to change to a different clip or I need the character to do something specific. This just helps me line all the clips up very nicely without having to constantly be looking at the video. The most common edits I'm doing to a music video is I'll add some animations on certain clips, or I'll be adding transitions between two clips. Some videos have more editing done than others. This one doesn't have that much because the original music video doesn't. Some of my other music videos have been more like 3-minute long edits. I think one of the best examples of how important editing can be is my Cooler Than Me remake that I made a couple months ago. With that video, most of it would look really choppy and really weird if it wasn't for the editing. Honestly, just adding animations and transitions onto the clips makes a huge difference. Primarily, I'm doing very simple editing to these clips. From start to finish, usually these videos take about 2 to 4 weeks from the time that I come up with the idea to when it's completely done and edited. The cardigan music video did only take just under a week, but it was quite simple since there was only one character in it and there wasn't much editing I needed to do. Usually when the videos are close to being finished, I'll come out with a YouTube short kind of promoting the video and giving a sneak peek into what it looks like. I think I've done this for all but 2 or 3 videos. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video has answered some questions about my music videos, or was just really interesting to watch to see the process behind them. But either way, thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see y'all in the next one.